Welcome to Nanda Narasimha Education Society Group of Institutions, Integrated Campus affiliated to NAC MBA. This is Kameshwari from Department of Civil Engineering. My subject Watershed Management. Today we are going to discuss about Unit 1. In that Unit 1, characteristics of watershed. Already previous classes we are discussed what is watershed. These are the already discussed in previous classes. And characteristics of watershed, one is climatic characteristics, another one is physiographic characteristics. In climatic characteristics, two types, precipitation and temperature. And next one is physiographic characteristics. In that, size, shape, already discussed in previous class, and geology also can discuss. Vegetation completed. Now drainage, how they are affect on a characteristics of a watershed. The drainage density of watershed provides a lot of information about the nature of hydrograph. When the drainage density is higher, that is, watershed has a number of finely divided drainage network with shorter channel lengths and steep slopes. The hydrograph has shorter lag time and a higher peak flow. When the drainage density is low, it means the watershed has a broadly divided network of drainages with long channel lengths and gentle slopes. The hydrograph shows a longer lag time and a delay less high peak flow. It gives the more information about the hydrograph. And high drainage densities generally occurs on impermeable rocks and clays, whereas low drainage densities are seen on permeable rock and sand. Permeable rock and sand. Next one is land. How they affect on a watershed management in physiographic characteristics. The land is generally used for several purposes like residential, cultivation and railways, roads and many more. All of this leads to increase the impervious in the landscape. Generally lands are used for different ways: household purpose, vegetation purpose, agriculture purpose, roads, railways and etc. All these are influence on the impervious in the landscape. So it is resulting in the reduction of infiltration and reduce the permeability. So directly affect on the impervious of land means resulting in the reduction of permeability. So reduction of permeability means reduction in the infiltration capability. Automatically decrease the groundwater recharges. And another characteristics is, other one is human activities. Human activities also directly influence on watershed. That includes the excessive groundwater use, intensive irrigation practices and neglect on surface water discharge can increase or decrease the water table, because they are hydrological process like infiltration, groundwater recharge, base flow and runoff are altered. So these are the human activities. The negligence of people, so excess groundwater use and intensive irrigation practice and neglect of surface runoff, surface water discharge can on a roads, so that are influence on a physiographic characteristics. So development of land must be undertaken without abusing the environmental by deforestation and implementation of inadequate land use practices, unsuitable farming and grazing practices, etc. So utilize the overall land according to their capability and increase the vegetation, so we can save the water. So reduce the surface runoff and soil erosion will be reduced and increase the infiltration and also increase the groundwater recharges, and that water will be used for drinking purpose also. So utilize the land according to their capability without abusing the environmental by deforestation. And next one is soil. How they soil farm. The soil is an important component of watershed. It is formed by disintegration or weathering of parent rock by physical and chemical and biographical agents during the course of evaluation. So rainfall will be like a hydrological cycle. So water will be evaporate on a atmosphere and condensation form, and precipitation comes from the atmosphere to ground surface. That is a hydrological cycle. So rainwater is falls in a ground surface that infiltrate and permeates through the permeable rock formation to underground layers of rock. So different soil have a different permeability. So compact soil. So when compact on a soil, so generally soil will be excavated from the ground surface and it is poured on a ground surface. It occupies more space, and that will be compacted by using hammer layer by layer compaction. So expulsion of air voids and voids will be evaporated. So voids will be evaporated and volume will be reduced. So water cannot enter into the that soil when compared to the uncompacted soil. So compacted soil have less water infiltration and increased surface runoff. So water will be infiltrated in the ground surface, so surface water will be increased. And water holding capacity of soil depend upon the permeability of soil depth, texture and structure. So this is the soil characteristics. So permeability of soil depend upon a capacity, biological capacity, holding capacity of soil mainly depend upon the permeability of soil and texture and structure. And next one is hydrology. How they affect. The term hydrology refers to the study of water and its interaction with the land, sea and the atmosphere. Hydrological cycle, it refers to the study of water and its interaction with the land, sea and the atmosphere. And another characteristic is hydrogeology. That study influence the observation and features that contribute to the absorption, retention and release of water through the soil and rocks. It refers to the absorption and features that contribute to the observation, absorption, retention and release of water through the soil and rock, as well as the porosity and permeability of the rocks. And the last characteristics of physiographic characteristic is socio-eco characteristics of watershed. That is also categorized into 3 types. One is demographic profile and farming practice and structure, attitude and priority of watershed residents. How? Demographic profile. So it refers to the human population in geometric progression is causing depletion of earth natural resources like pollution of environment, disappearing forest, increasing greenhouse gases, stereographic ozone depletion. So increasing the population means more vehicles, so automatically burning of fuel and more construction activities, urban development, more development of roads, infrastructures, increasing use of fertilizers and also household waste, release of metals and chemical contaminants, industrial process, all are which transmit the natural ecosystem into an inhospitalized habit for animals and plants and life. Increasing the population, also increasing the all activities, pollutions and some of the disadvantages. So automatically then affect the animals, plants and human being life. So we can once farming practice and structure. A growing population generates a need for increased food protection. So increase the population, needs also increase like food protection, new agriculture methods and machinery, intensive farming to increase the agricultural increasing the population, increasing the vehicles and agriculture lands and cultivation, infrastructures, facilities and pollution also increase. Like that way, we can increase the food protection and agriculture methods. So intent to farming to increase the agricultural products. And third one is attitude and priority of watershed residents. Attitude and priority of watershed residents. The developers, politicians and environmental groups should support the ecosystem. How policies and that protect the watershed ecosystem. Each one of us should have a feeling of moral responsibility, a sense and a personal conduct with the objective of protecting the watershed. A politicians and environmental groups should support the policies and that also increase the how watershed is developed, how to reduce these pollutions, and personal conduct with the objectives of protecting the watershed. These are the main characteristics of the watershed, that is physical and climatic characteristics, physiographic characteristics and climatic characteristics. Thank you.